Blessings, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. I am Empress Zella Taj, and I am the founder of Ministry of Neteru. And today is our Sacred Currents. It is our weekly transmission, our weekly check-in with the collective energies. And so, yeah, I appreciate you all tuning in. And there's a lot that I want to share today. There's a lot that needs to be shared. And yeah, I'm really excited, really grateful for all of you. And yeah, the work that we're here to do, the times that we're in. And I will start with a centering and grounding prayer. And then we will get started. Sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu ala Muhammad. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman-Ar-Rahim. Malik yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. I pray that we are all grounded. I pray that we are all with ease, that we are all deeply rooted and connected to the earth, while being deeply connected to our higher teachers. I pray that there's truth in this container, that everything that resonates goes deep into the core of our being to meet our soul, to light us up, to move in our deepest alignment, so that we can reach our highest potential that we came here to reach in this lifetime. That we can be beacons of truth and anchor in truth and know how to discern truth from illusion. That we can be present with all that is, no matter how hard it might be to receive, that we stay open, that we stay pure in our hearts, and we stay embodied and present with the all. Alhamdulillah, ya shukor, baraka, amin, aho. All right. Thank you all for being here today. And now, in this conversation today, I really want to talk about the heavier collective energies that we're in. I want to talk about the intensity that we're currently facing here on Earth. I want to talk about my experience. I want to talk about all that I've received and what we are here to do with Ministry of Neteru, the deeper aspects of work that we are called to do, and the deeper form of leadership that I'm being called to embody, and that all of the stewards within this collective are also being called to embody at this time. So I've just returned, and by just returned, I mean I've been back from the jungle for a little bit, but I've just returned fully into this world again, into this vessel again, into this timeline again. And once a year, and maybe more than once a year as things change and depending on what I'm called to do. Once a year, I go to the jungle to connect with my allies, to embody their teachings, their wisdom, to sit in deep fast and isolation, in prayer and meditation in the jungle. And so what this is called is a master plant dieta. It's where, the lineage in which I'm trained and initiated under, we do this work to clear our vessels, to clear our bodies, to be the vessels that they're meant to be for these higher teachers, for our galactic beings, which are our plants. The plants are more than what we just see. All of the plants, from the tiniest blade of grass to the largest tree, they are interdimensional travelers. And they are wisdom holders, and they are our older siblings, as I've said many times. And so I go into the jungle to fast, to commune with only their energy, and to make my body more light by dry fasting, and communing with them and asking for their wisdom and clearing out everything that veils me from the higher dimensions, right? So like the traumas, the food, the other energies that we interact with on a daily basis here on this plane. And so in this time, I received a lot of messages, and really they're full circle messages. These are messages that have been given to me actually, almost a year ago, during the storm, during Hurricane Helene, when I was in the center of the hurricane. Same messages I received back then, but this time I was a clearer vessel in order to root them in. And similar messages. And I want to highlight that today is also a very auspicious day. Today is the end of the galactic year. So we're in a 777 portal. And according to the Mayan calendar, according to the Igbo calendar, this is the end of the galactic year, which is just quite profound that I was called to reconnect in the form of sacred currents at this time. Because according to the Mayan and the Igbo calendar, yesterday was the last day of the year. It's a 364-day cycle. And today is this in-between space. Today is this liminal space. Today is this time in between time. It is this particular day where the void is, the veils are particularly thin. And it's this time between the old and the new, between what is falling away and what is being reformed and recreated. So tomorrow is the official new day of the new year, of the galactic new year. And today is this in-between time where it's really important to take stock of what is falling away and to bring in and set intentions and be in a peaceful, expansive state where we remember that anything is possible, that there are no limits, and that when we think within the realm of what we think is possible, we're actually just succumbing to someone else's ceiling of what is true. So I wanted to really start with that and say that this day is a portal in itself. And that it'll be really important to sit in meditation and to see what is lighting up. Today is a particularly great day to tune in with your ancestors, your healed and well ancestors that want you to ascend to your highest potential. and to tune in with your higher self, your Ori, and what is being asked of you to let go, and being really honest with yourself on what you wish to let go and what you wish to bring in. And it is of no coincidence that today is also a new moon, which is a perfect time to do that as well. So a new moon, which is representative of the void, and this voided day, of this in-between space, this time between time. So yeah, great place to start. So so much to talk about, so much to talk about, so much I'm excited about. And so much that is serious, but also we bring in levity, like this is fun, this is beauty, this is bliss, this is expansion. Like this is what we're calling in. We're calling in more expansiveness, we're calling in more alignment, we're calling in newness and truth and what is meant to be born out of the destruction. So right now we're in a time of deep destruction. We're in a time of deep crumbling. We're in a time of deep fear, of anxiety, of seemingly hopelessness. We've got wars that are raging silently in the West. The West loves to be silent about war, silent about oppression, silent about famine. But that is happening, and all of those that are watching, it's heavy. It's heavy, it's dark. There are wars waging there. There's political and socio and economical turmoil. There is leadership, that is here to create fear. There are energies that are dying, and by dying, it really just means a return to source. There's no death. And so these energies, they've been holding on to this time for a long time. They've been ruling for a long time. These really, really dark energies that feed off of darkness under the guise of power. And they've been having a real fun time, these dark trickster beings creating chaos and feeding and loving it, but it's time for that to be different, and they don't want it to be different, and so they're pulling out all the tricks. They're the media is getting more intense. The regime that is falling is trying its hardest to feed, because so many people are opting out. They're saying, I don't want to watch this anymore. They're saying, I don't want to give my power away to this anymore. They're saying, there's more to life than this, And so these energies are losing power. So they're trying even more tactics to pull our attention, to get us to fall into fear, into despair, into hopelessness, because that is food. So, in my time in the jungle, I received a lot of information. I received information about where we're headed and about this split of consciousness that is happening imminently right now. We're in a collective death portal, where there are certain energies that are actually just like opting out of this time of transformation, that there is a lot of death happening right now collectively. There's the obvious death, right, happening in the famine and the wars that are currently occurring. And then there's the less obvious death that is occurring in the West. There's a lot of death. There's a lot of people that are dying right now, by seemingly random, happenings. There are a lot of people that I know that have recently passed, in the last month. in the last 2 months, in the last 3 months. And it is increasing, and it will continue to increase. There will continue to be more deaths. There will continue to be more people that cannot handle this new frequency that Earth is shifting into. Either that they can't handle the new frequency, or that they don't want to be here for what is changing, for what is coming. And what I'm sharing, it's like, remember that you are sovereign. Remember that you are powerful. Remember that you are a creator being, that you create this world, and that we are the same. We are one. We are one being, having a human experience, having the split moment of individuality. And if what I'm sharing resonates, beautiful. Let it catalyze you. Let it ripple. And if it doesn't, just gently put it down and walk away. Your power is yours. You have it. So, I like to start with that. So while I was in the jungle, I experienced what some might call deeply traumatic things, as understanding death to a more close and visceral way, and understanding the ripples that causes, and what more is to be unveiled, I guess, as more death happens. And remember, death is just a return to source. It's not this horrible thing. I mean, there's this human aspect, right? But I learned that nature, that life doesn't see death in the same way that us humans do. They don't see death as this horrible thing to be avoided at all costs. They see death as just a natural part of the cycle, just something that is, there's no, it's not a good or a bad thing, something dies and it is composted in the soil and it is used to bring about more life. And I got a real beautiful visceral experience of that. But again, so with my ally, I'm called to be a different form of leader, called to be a different teacher. I'm called to be more authentic and firm in my teachings and in what the earth and what life is asking of us right now during this transition. Because we are, as many people have spoken about before, as teachers, elders, Indigenous wisdom holders have brought about, we are upon this great awakening. We are upon this great transition. We are upon this great death and rebirth. The earth as a collective being, this earth as its own consciousness is evolving, is changing, is growing, is moving. We're moving into a new frequency. We are moving into a new energetic state. And what comes with that is shedding of the old and shedding of what cannot come. What cannot come as we move into a more blissful place. And I want to dispel these fear narratives. There's a lot of fear narratives right now when we talk about the death, we talk about what is changing, what is crumbling, what is being destroyed in a beautiful catalytic way. But we also have to talk about what we're building. And that actually has to be the focus. We can't get bogged down in what is being lost and dismantled because it doesn't serve us in this way, right? We're here to build. And with Ministry of Neteru, we are builders, we are creators, We are helpers too of those that are on the edge of, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I feel ready to make these changes. I don't know if I feel ready to let go of these things. We are here to help each other. We are collective. We move together, and we have a duty to our human kin to help those that are willing to help themselves. But we also have a duty to ourselves and to the earth to not be slowed down And for those who are not willing to help themselves, to allow them and to honor their journey, to honor their choices, to honor their sovereignty and their power and their dignity, and say, yes, I see you, and I have work to do. So I will let you do your thing over here, and I will do my thing over here, and help those that are ready and willing to help themselves. We have to set clear boundaries in that way. That is the truth. We have to know what is worth pouring our energy into and what is not. We have to know who is willing to do the work and not just have the work done for them. This is a time of deep choices and discernment. And we must move with this open, compassionate, beautiful heart where we're like, yes, everyone, we want everyone to come, but we must be realistic that not everyone wants to. And not everyone is willing to do the work that is being asked of them at this time, and that is their choice. They have a choice. And I firmly believe, and my higher teachers have told me, that everyone has exactly what they need. Everyone has exactly what they need, and they know what they need to do to heal themselves and to move in their highest timeline, their highest direction, their highest bliss. They know exactly the steps that need to be taken to get there. But people lack courage. That's the thing. They lack courage. And the systems and the regime as it is right now, it is creating this energy of fear and anxiety and exacerbating it so that people forget their courage and they forget their sovereignty, right? But we have to be strong enough and truthful enough and connected enough to our intuition and our higher teachers to discern that that is just a narrative that they're trying to use to keep us disempowered, disembodied, so that we do not have the courage to overtake them, so that we are weak because these energies are siphoning our life force. Anxiety, the beings that love to just feed off of that anxiety and fear, because they're siphoning our life force so that we can't get out of that, so we do not feel powerful enough to do our work, to remember that we have the power to overtake them. We have the power to dream something new, you know? And so, with that, I want to talk about the new, because that is an exciting place to start. I will talk about the new, and then I will talk about how we get there. So, the new, right? We're moving, this whole entire earth is shifting consciousness. It's quite a very, very beautiful time. And it's this time that we've all incarnated to experience. And whether you have conscious awareness or not, we all feel this energy, this stirring. Something is changing, something dramatic is being birthed, something dramatic is shifting. And this new frequency that the earth is evolving in, it is based off of community, it's based off of love, it's based off of us having everything that we need provided to us. There's no money, there's no institutions of work, there's no structures as we know it in society. They don't matter. Anything that you think of in terms of like homesteading and living in community, and back before this hyper masculine system has taken its dominance, and remind you, right? This is new. The system that we're living in right now, with money, with jobs, with all of these structures, with this hyper individualistic nature of reality, this is new in terms of human consciousness, right? This is new in terms of human history, right? And this is like a tiny blip in like the galactic timeline of humanity, of everyone. So this new dimension, this new frequency that we're embodying, is so incredibly beautiful. So incredibly beautiful. It's this world where we're connected to the higher dimensional beings, where it's not uncommon for spirits and humans to walk as one, where it's not uncommon to it's I don't even want to use the word uncommon, where it is normal, where it is common sense and common knowledge that plants have consciousness and that we work with them and we talk to them, that we will walk in the same energy and the same frequency and the same dimension as our ancestors. We will be able to talk to our ancestors like they're beings right next to us. You know, we will be able to commune with our galactic beings. We'll be able to see the consciousness of the plants. We'll be able to see the consciousness of the wind, of the elementals, of the ancestors, all of the galactic beings. Everything between us and them will be shattered. You know, it will be normal. We will be walking among the spirits casually. This will be casual, common knowledge. You know, all like this earth will be more fruitful, more vibrant. It's going to be this beautiful place where fruit and food grows abundantly. We eat less. We're in community. We're all moving together, nurturing each other. The earth is bountiful. Like it's this beautiful place beyond structures, beyond money, beyond scarcity, beyond guilt, beyond fear, beyond anxiety. Like there is none of that energy where we're going. This is a place of divine love. This is a place of bliss, of playfulness, of children frolicking, of joy. That is the energy, the frequency that we're moving into, the timeline that is converging at this moment. That is where we're going. That is the new, right? Like everything that we fear, everything that we worry about, everything that is keeping us away from our highest bliss, everything that we feel like is a barrier between us and our freedom and our joy, right? That's all falling away. You know, in this new timeline, this new frequency, this new earth, there's no need for healers because we are all well. Disease only manifests when we're not in a perfect alignment with our soul. There's no disease. There's no imbalances. There's just perfect harmony. We can be, and that is how humans were meant to be when we came here as an experiment. You know, this human experience is an experiment, you know, by the Most High, by the galactic beings that watch over us. We're an experiment, you know, and we went we veered a little off. This was supposed to be a bliss planet entirely, you know. There wasn't supposed to be all of these other energies, this like this sickness, you know, that creates this like this hierarchy and all of that. That wasn't supposed to be what this was. You know, this became that over time, and it was led to play out to see how it would, you know, how it would fare, how we would fare. But that time is over. We've completed that cycle. It is time to move into this higher place. And people that don't want that energy, you know, that don't want us to not have to be within a capitalist system, you know, at the very least. And this is the perfect balance of the masculine and the feminine. I want to say that too, because a lot of people think we're moving into this like feminine timeline where we're all just like these magical astral beings and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, sure, that too, you know, everything that we've, you know, read about in fairy tale books, you know, the flying, the telepathy, the, you know, elemental magic, like all of that is all true and real. And that's what we're moving into. And it will be common in the collective psyche, you know, common in the collective experience, all of it. But it's also that balance of the masculine as well. So the masculine, this energy of rooting in, of taking action, of fierce protection, of one another, of balance, of fire and water, you know, of intuition and aligned action. So that's what we're moving into, right? Like that's the exciting part. Like that is the beautiful thing that we should be focusing on, right? Like the attention and the media and everything that's happening in this 3D world right now is to get us away from focusing on what we're actually creating, what we're actually building, which is this beautiful collective community blissful timeline, right? And so the energies want us to not think about that and to think about what is being crumbled and like all of the chaos that happens when things are being crumbled. But it's catalyzing, it's the Tower card in the tarot, things have to crumble down. There's fire, there's explosions, blah, 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 right? Like that part has to happen, right? For things to crumble. It's just inevitable. And so that's what we're in, right? But like let's not fear the crumbling, right? Let's not fear the catalyzing impacts. So now let's talk about what's being asked of us. Let's talk about how we move into that highest timeline. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what the earth needs in this sacred shedding process, in this sacred cleansing, that's occurring right now. The earth needs us to be strong. The earth needs us to not hold fear and to not forget who we are. So as everything is crumbling, as these systems are holding on by a thread and they're trying so desperately to hang on, right? There's going to be a lot more extreme things that happen collectively. There's going to be a lot more extremes, right? Like I already alluded to, there will be a lot more deaths, right? There will be chaos that ensues, as these systems are crumbling and people don't know anything else other than these systems. So when something is destroyed, right, and there's a deep unknown, people panic, right? Like we don't, as humans, we're uncomfortable with unknowns, right? We want things to be black and white. We want things to be clear. And especially people who have built their entire foundation upon these systems and safety within these systems, they're going to be completely knocked off their rocker. Their whole foundation is going to be ripped from underneath them. And so they're going to feel really lost. They're going to feel really scared. They're going to feel really chaotic. And so it's up to the people that have always known. It's up to the people that have this like strong intuitive compass. And it's up to us right now to strengthen that intuitive compass, to not be fooled by the things that are happening in the 3D right now, and to know what our truth is and to align with that truth. And to do our practices to keep us in that alignment. Because as chaos increases out here, the only thing that we have is in here. And that is how we keep ourselves safe. That is how we keep our community safe. And that is how we make sure that we are aligned with the frequencies that are being moved, that we're being moved into. And it is also our job, like I was saying earlier, like we need to bring people along that are ready to be brought along but need a little help. And we need to support each other to maintain this vision of this higher timeline. Because, and again, this is not fear, this is just honest, right? Like because if you're too bogged down by the chaos, if you're too bogged down by the darkness, you will be too heavy to move into this new timeline. That's just truth. And I mean, like I said, with my higher teachers, I'm called to just be more honest about this stuff. Like I can't sugarcoat it. I can't be nice about it. Like I can't diminish what's happening. I'm like, it just is. And if you align with it, cool. If this doesn't resonate with you, just throw it away. I don't care. But if you are too bogged down by what's happening in the 3D, if you are being filled with a lot of darkness and a lot of fear and anxiety and um, despair, essentially, if you are too plugged in to those consciousnesses, your spirit, your body is too heavy to move into that higher timeline that I was explaining. It's just not possible. Like your energy field is too dense. And so you can't make that transition. And this is about lightness of heart and lightness of spirit. This is about holding everything and not turning a blind eye to it, not trying to be in resistance to it, because that creates its own karmic loop and density, right? If you're like, I'm not going to pay attention to any of this, I'm going to be in my blissful bubble and like nothing else matters, I'm going to go to this new earth, that's creating its own shit, and that's not going to fly either. It's like we have to be both. We have to be so deeply in this world and devoted to the evolution of human consciousness, and we have to be connected to our higher compass, and what I've learned with my teacher, with my ally, and why I had to take so much time before sharing any of this was because I needed to root these things into myself. I needed to learn these lessons myself, and I needed to know what was pertinent to share and what was something that did not need to be shared. And that is why I'm doing this in a closed container. That's why Ministry of Neteru is what it is. Honestly, this is a mystery school, y'all. This is a school of rallying the troops. This is a warriorship. Like, it is nothing else. That is what the ultimate intention was when I was given this assignment to bring these people together. It's to prepare you all for what it is, what is coming, and to tell you to not be fooled by the 3D, to hold it, to let it break your heart. That is important. What is happening right now and the severe amount of forgetting that is occurring in this time, allow it to break your heart. Bring it in. Breathe it in so deeply. Like, this is hard. We have love. We have so much love for all of our human kin that this is painful. That these deaths, this war, this famine, this confusion, it is painful. It breaks our hearts. And allow it. Like, this place that we're moving into, this higher frequency, is a place of pure heartedness. And to move with a pure heart is to allow your heart to be broken every single day, all the time, and to not be afraid of that. And to know that this feeling in your chest of a broken heart means that you're alive, means that you're connected to life. It means that you are one with everything and everyone, that you feel for them. That feeling of brokenheartedness in your chest is beautiful. And that is a feeling that you should always have in your chest, because that means that you are open. And that is a form of warriorship. That is warriorship. To always move with an open heart, to always have a heart that feels raw, because you are in this and you are moving despite your fear. You are moving in action, like with that pure, sensitive, soft, beautiful heart. You are taking the actions that you need in the physical. Like I said, it is our jobs to bring people along that just need that love, that just need to remember their courage to do their own personal work. Because again, this is all about our personal work. We've got to make ourselves more pure vessels. We've got to purify our hearts. So anything that makes us close down, anything that makes us shut off from people and the world, that is our work. That is what we need to work on. That is what we need to do. If you need to go somewhere so that you are more ripped open, by this experience, by this catalyzing place right now, like that is why all of this is happening. It is a purifying, it is a cleansing, all of this. It is to break us down of every barrier and wall that we have put between us and life, between us and other people, between us and the higher realms, because only the pure-hearted can move forward into these higher dimensions. Only the pure-hearted can hear the plants and their wisdom as our higher teachers. Only the pure-hearted can really tune into the higher dimensional realms and hear the higher ancestors and hear the galactic beings and hear the earth and what she is asking of us in every single moment. Pure-heartedness. Your heartbreaking is beautiful. And this is the nuance. This is what I'm trying to express. This like deeply spiritual connected state has nothing to do with turning your back to the world. It has everything to do with being so fully in the world that you are not fooled by it. That you are not fooled by the narratives, that they don't cause you fear. Because you know what they're trying to do. You can see it more deeply, And you know what your compass is. You know what your higher self is telling you to do. You listen to that. You don't listen to, oh, I've got to do this because of fear. I've got to do this because I'm preparing for this because I hear these fear narratives. You know when you're moving from a place of fear or you're moving from a place of a raw and open heart. And you're doing it because you have a duty to serve our human and our non-human kin. You know when you're moving from either of those places. And this is a call for us to do that work. In what ways do we close our hearts? In what ways do we shut down? In what ways do we fear this human experience? In what ways do we fear what is coming? In what ways are we trying to avoid our destiny? How are we running from a pure and open heart? How are we running from our own sensitivity? Because again, nothing will destroy us. This is actually our job, to be able to expand in that chaos. Because when the chaos gets really intense, are you going to be swept up in it? Are you going to be bogged down by it and just like lost in the collective energies of fear? Or are you going to be able to breathe in that fear and not be in resistance to it and say, yes, I see you, fear. Yes, this is part of the human experience. How sacred. And I know what I am to do because I am clear and I'm connected to my higher teachers. And I know how to hear the plants. And I know how to hear my intuition. It is our jobs to breathe it in more deeply, but to remember who we are in all of it and to remember our connection in all of it. Because times are getting really intense, and if you are swept up and you don't have a true compass and you don't know what your North Star is, it's easy for someone else to tell you what yours is. It's easy for you to be fooled by things that look good but are kind of off. Something that might look good on paper but is kind of off. Because they, like I said, these energies, these darker energies that want the status quo to remain, they're going to pull out all the tricks. They're going to try to go to your deepest wounds and make you feel disempowered. They're going to make you forget who you are. They're going to try to make you forget who you are. They're going to try to make you move in fear and in scarcity, to go to ways that you try to cope and dissociate, whether that be food, whether that be media, whether that be different forms of dissociations. There's also dissociation in community, So I implore you to do some deeper exercises, and I will be talking about practices that my allies have taught me in the jungle about bringing in an emotional processing, bringing in energies and emotional processing, because we are called to breathe in the most extreme emotions. And when we breathe them in, we then move them down to the earth. We breathe in fear, and I implore you to do this often, actually. And maybe we can do it now, because we talked about there are a lot of really intense things, and it's a very heavy energy. So I want us to be back in our bodies, So in this moment, let's take a couple of breaths together. Let's inhale, hold it at the top. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale. Hold. Exhale. Turn your breathing to its normal rhythm. Now, root into your body. Feel your heartbeat reverberating in your chest. Feel your butt against your seat. Continue to breathe deeply. Feel the cord moving from the base of your spine down to the center of the earth. Feel rooted, plugged in to the earth's energies. And just surrender to being held by the earth. Breathing down your grounding cord and inhaling up from the center of the earth. Breathing out down the grounding cord, and inhale, drawing the energy up from the center of the earth. Exhale down Inhale up. And just surrendering to this flow, releasing all tension in your body, releasing the tongue from your mouth, releasing tension in your stomach, releasing the shoulders, maybe releasing the eyebrows, any tension in the face, the jaw, maybe releasing that stomach again, releasing the legs, the hips, the tongue from the roof of the mouth again if it's found its way up. Just gently tuning into your senses, feeling rooted, following my voice and all the other sounds you might be hearing right now. Feeling the sensations in your body. I invite you to rest in this. You're held. You're strong. You're made for this. This is what you came here to do. I invite you to notice your heart space, this beautiful power center. This is the portal. This is the bridge between the material realm and the immaterial, between the physical and the astral. You are the bridge. You are not just this body. You are not this mind. You are not these emotions. You are source consciousness. You are the light of source. This is your portal. This is your gateway. You are the creator. You have manifested all of this, and you are here to experience it fully. You love this experience. You love this earth. You love these people. All of creation is your creation. Not the creation of the mind, not the creation of this body, not the creation of this ego, this sense of self, but this deeper self that lives within the deepest aspects of your heart. That is who created everything that you are witnessing here, and has created me speaking to you right now. I invite you to think of the energy of fear, this collective energy that is raising in our collective field. And I invite you to see fear outside of you and see it as this big energy. It's huge. It's moving. It's pulsing. It's alive with its own consciousness. Now I ask you to bring that fear into your heart space, into this void, into this portal of creation, of death and life that exists within you. Bring in all of the fear into your heart space with your breath. Inhale the fear in. Just inhale it so deeply. Goes deep, deep, deep into your heart space. Allow it to fill your body. Know that you are not this fear. Know that you are a beautiful transmutation device. And that this fear just wants to be felt and wants to be moved and wants to be reunited with Source and existing in a different way. So we continue to breathe this fear in and let it well into our bodies fully, 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 fully. And with our exhale, we bring it down into the earth, down that grounding cord. And we do this a couple of times. Inhale the fear in. And bring it down to be composted and transmuted into the earth. In and out. Into the heart space. And out through the grounding cord. And just do this a couple of times until you feel this power within you. Until you feel like all the fear has moved out and something else has welled up within you. This courage, this powerfulness. You are the transmutation device. You are the vessel in which this energy needs to move. It is an honor. It is a sacred gift. And it also fills you with more power, with more life force each time you do it. You are in service. Now, friends, thank you for exploring that practice with me. Thank you for your vulnerability. Now, as you slowly come back to your body, take your time. Take your time. I will continue. You may keep your eyes closed. You may continue in your process as I speak. So this work that we have just done is the work that the earth has been doing. This is the work that we have always been meant to do. This is our true work as the stewards of this land, as beings, as the stewards of all creation. This is what we were here to do, to transmute this energy, to not ignore it, to not let it get stuck. And this is the earth that this is the work that the earth has been forced to do in extreme ways recently. With Hurricane Helene and my presence in the hurricane with her, with all of the nature spirits, with the land. She shared this with me very, very clearly, very viscerally, that because we don't move these emotions, because we're not doing our jobs, that it wells up and it has to be moved with extremes. And that there needs to be extreme cleansing because that energy gets stuck in the land. It gets stuck in our fields. And that's anti-life. That's stagnancy. That's not evolution. It's not what we are here to do. And the earth doesn't want to carry that anymore. She wants to evolve. She is a consciousness. And so she is slowly but surely, and it's actually speeding up, she is cleansing herself so that she can finish this evolution. And it's with the waters, with Oshun, alhamdulillah, that she will be cleansing. It's with the waters, with the floods. Hurricane Helene was a message for me so that I could share this with everyone. And it's been almost a year, and I haven't done my part, truly. It hasn't rooted in me, and I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to share. I wasn't ready to be the leader that I need to be at this moment. I wasn't ready then. And when I was here in that hurricane and processing all of that, the messages were clear then that there will be more of this, particularly with water. Water is the great purifier. And so there will be floods, there will be storms, there will be deaths, there will be changes. The earth will change. Her pathways will change. Her landforms will change. And that was very clear with the storm, with the hurricane. The whole creek became the raging river, created new channels, created new pathways, washed whole towns away, And then what has happened in Texas? The great purifier, the great cleansing. And some of that's happening in DC. It's happening in so many other places right now. And so it's only going to get more. There will be more cleansing. It will be more extreme. And she's asking people to listen because what she's moving anger. She's moving grief. She's moving all of these energies that we are too afraid to move ourselves. And so with this work, we're doing her a service. We're helping the earth evolve, and we're helping all of ourselves. We are all one, right? We are all source. We're helping everyone evolve by moving these energies. When you're in a place of density where people have forgotten this, forgotten our true purpose, our true work in this time, when you're in a place of fear, of density, when you're in a group of people that are unconscious, that do not have a connection to spirit, it is our jobs, not as a burden, not to carry as a weight, not to carry as some egoic, conflated sense of self, but it is our jobs to transmute that energy, that they can't do, that they don't feel courageous enough to do, because that's of service to the earth. Because if we don't transmute it, the earth has to. Energy has to move somehow, So with that practice that we have just gone through, it's our duty to continue to use that in this time and to remember our power to hold these intensities, because we don't have to fear our emotions. We don't have to fear the darkness. We don't have to fear those places, because when we fear them, we actually tie ourselves to them. And that energy is the only thing that's going to stop you from being able to move into this higher dimensional world that we spoke about in the beginning. That's the only thing that's going to hold you to this plane, is if you're too bogged down with your own darkness and your own fear, and you don't invite it into the heart space to be moved into the earth. We're transmutation vessels. That is our work. And so with that, I feel pretty complete for now. There's definitely a lot more to be shared, but I think that those are the really important higher points for this moment, and that is what my higher team has called me to share at this time. I will be sharing more over time. There are a lot more specifics that need to be shared as as the intensity builds, right? As things are shifting. But I think the most important message that I want to make sure gets not focus on the fear, not focus on what is crumbling, and to focus on what we are building, and to dream, and to continue to like our thoughts create energies themselves. They create realities, they create timelines, they create entities, right? And so being able to move the emotions through our bodies, and then really taming the mind is going to be really important, like the balance of both, right? So meditation is really important, dream work is really important, and really just putting in into the collective field what you want to bring forth, rather than focusing on the other stuff. I want us to be able to fully see and feel what is happening and take aligned action, however that looks for you in this time, to serve our human kin and our non-human kin. Whatever aligned action looks like for you, please take that. But again, the focus needs to be on forward, on what we're building. That is where our 90% of our consciousness should be. So it's threefold. During this time, what's being asked is threefold. It's to help the people that are ready and willing to do the work to save themselves, and need a little bit of direction and need light, because the dark energies are really, really heavy right now. So helping the people that just need a little bit of light to remind them of their courage. Not people that are so deeply bogged down in the forgetting and in the darkness that you pouring your energy is anti-life into them. If the energy is just going to go into a black hole, right? If these people aren't willing to help themselves, if they aren't willing to use this as an oomph so that they can do their own personal work and untangle themselves from all of the things that are holding them back from reaching their highest potential, that's anti-life, right? That's anti-higher timeline. That's anti collective consciousness, like evolution, right? Because that means that they're being run by the beings that want to maintain the status quo, and they're just trying to siphon your life force, right? And so that's where boundaries come in, and I'm glad that this, alhamdulillah, thank you, Spirit, for this, because this is actually a really important distinction that I want to make, because we want to help everyone, we want to bring them to this higher place too, but we have to be discerning with our hearts, and we have to be discerning with where we're pouring our energy, because we want to be full. We need to be around people that are able, we need to primarily be around people that fill us up, first and foremost. Primarily be around people that fill you up. But then we also have a service and a duty, and we want to help the other people that are feeling a little lost as well. But there's a clear distinction between people that are ready to do their work, because the earth is asking us to do our work, and the work is purifying our hearts. So it's purifying our hearts from hatred. It's purifying our hearts from lack. It's purifying our hearts from all of these things that separate us from source, right? So we have to be willing to feel our emotions. We have to be willing to go into the dark places within ourselves and liberate the light that exists there, because only the pure-hearted can go, right? So if we are wanting to be of service to other people, it has to be people that are already on that track, right? People that are already wanting to do the work, are already starting to do the work, are already have the language, right, to begin this journey. Not the people that are in such a state of forgetting that they are so bogged down by despair that they don't want to feel their feelings, that they're totally dissociating, they're drinking all the time, they're smoking all the time, right? They are they're being selfish, they're moving through the world like me. They are, you can tell the people that move in their energy this way. And those are the people that love to talk about doing the inner work, but it never shows up in their field, right? They never actually change, and it's 111. They never actually change, right? They love to talk about the inner work and dance around it in the spiritual bypassing way, right? But those people are black holes. Let me be straight. Those people are black holes, and they're here to slow you down. They're here to slow you down. They're here to cause distortion and confusion in your field so that you will continue to be in a place of fear, of lack, and of illusion, so that you will dissociate yourself and not actually do what the earth is asking of us at this time, and help them maintain this agenda as long as it can hold on. But this is crumbling. That's the beginning and end of it. It's crumbling. It's leaving, right? So they're going to pull out all of their tricks. They're going to try to distract you. They're going to try to confuse you. They're going to try to siphon your energy. And so really noticing what people make you feel really drained after you hang out with them. The people that make you feel really, like, just noticing, like what you feel after hanging out with certain people, and being able and being courageous enough to set boundaries and say, no, actually, I have higher standards for who I'm interacting with. And I have a job to do. The earth is asking me to do something that's much more important. And all of this stuff is going to crumble and change, and not being bogged down by it, not feeling guilty, not feeling like you have to save everyone, because people have to want to be saved. Otherwise, they're dead weight, and they're slowing you down, and they're going to make it so that you don't reach your highest potential, and you're going to let them unless you make a different choice. So again, noticing, being really embodied is what the earth is asking us right now. So that practice I just shared with you of bringing the emotions in, that is really important. And then also noticing how you feel after you hang out with certain people. If you feel like, man, I just want to eat so much food right now, maybe do more of an embodiment practice and see what's up there. Because that's also a way of coping. And we want to placate the mind, placate the body. So I would notice that, or like, oh man, I want to just like watch a whole bunch of TV, or oh, I'm going to scroll endlessly on Instagram now right after hanging out with someone, or like, oh, I'm feeling a bit insecure now after hanging out with someone, or oh, I'm feeling this and this, right? It can be your stuff, and so like using that as an opportunity for both, right? It's balance. It's like, what's here for me to work on and examine within myself so that I can liberate more light, so I can really understand myself and my shadows and liberate the light that exists within the shadows, because that is being a light worker. And then what is this person like that? And maybe this person doesn't align with me, and being really clear, you know? So this is a time of, really tuning in with ourselves and trusting our inner compass and nobody else and nothing else. Not letting other people tell us who we are. Not even letting me. If any of this stuff resonates, cool. If it doesn't, dope, you know. But tune in with your compass and know your compass, because we are all going to start receiving strong intuitive messages. This is a time of everyone receiving different messages and it becoming part of a bigger whole, right? So this is the message that I'm receiving and what I am meant to share with you. And you will receive different messages too if you open yourself up to it. This is a time for slowness. It's a time for increased meditation. It doesn't have to be formal meditation of just like sitting and whatever. It's a time of slowness, of intentionality, of noticing how you move and where you are moving on autopilot versus where you are conscious. This is a time of increasing your conscious awareness. This is a time of feeling all of your feelings and inviting them in. This is a time of noticing the subtle energy shifts around you and not gaslighting anything that you receive intuitively about people, places, things. If your intuition says don't go to that place, don't go to that place. If your intuition says you don't want to hang out with that person, don't hang out with that person. Don't get in the mind. Don't let the mind fool you right now. So yeah, 3 things. I'm going back to that. 3 things being asked of us right now. Tuning into the intuition, being in our bodies, transmuting this energy, feeling the emotions, helping the earth in her transition and her growth, visualizing and holding that vision of this highest timeline. What does that look like for you? What does that feel like for you? Where do you want to be? What did your soul incarnate to experience? What did your child self want before you became jaded by these current systems that are crumbling? So, that is everything that will be shared for right now. I will be back, weekly with Sacred Currents, and more of these pieces will unfold during time, more specifics. I feel like some of this was specific in the way that it was appropriate for this time, and some of this was more general in the way that it was appropriate for this time. So I want to reiterate this 777 portal that we're in right now. This, for those of you that weren't in the beginning, this is a very auspicious day. It's the end of yesterday was the end of the galactic year. And according to the Mayan and the Igbo calendars, which is a 364-day calendar, today is this liminal space between the previous year and the new year. It's this day, and it's, no coincidence that it's the new moon as well. It is this in-between day, this void, right? This space of creation, the space of the in-between, the old and the new, where we can really set intentions for this new year. Tomorrow is the first day of the galactic new year. Yesterday was the last day of the last galactic new year. So today the veils are particularly thin. The energy is particularly heightened. Your connection with your higher self, with your Ori, is very sensitive today. You're very close to each other. So it's a really great day. It's truly the best day to set intentions for this next year, to think very, very big, to not limit yourself. Because again, like I said, all the magic is real. The telepathy, like first-hand experience, friends. The telepathy, like all of the things, like the elemental magic, all of the things, like anything that you can imagine from a story fairy tale book is literally what's coming into the common conversation, the common collective psyche, our common abilities. It will no longer be, this thing that people think doesn't exist. So today is a good day to set intentions. Today is a good day to let go of everything that you don't want to come into this new portal with you. This is a particularly high, this is where you can jump very many timelines today. You can, if you feel like you've been really off course, if you feel like there's a couple things you want to change, if you feel like you're feeling good no matter what, take advantage of this day. I would spend this day mostly, internal in meditation, really embodying this version of yourself that you want to carry into this new year. So being slow, very present, meditative, doing your favorite things, setting clear intentions and all of that. So anyway, that is all I will share for today. This has been a very intense set of messages. I wish you all a lot of ease in this day. This recording, will be in the portal. So revisit it whenever you need to. And again, take what resonates, release the rest. And remember that it's the lightness of spirit that will carry us through. The remembering that there is divine purpose in all of this and that this is what we came here to experience. And that all of the human experience is beautiful, even the darker aspects. And that we are more powerful than any darkness that we will meet. So inviting it into the heart space and bringing it to the earth. Okay. All right. I love you all so much. We are strong as a team, as a collective. This is a time for community. And that is why I bring this forth in community, with community, for community. And this is why I am stepping into the leadership that is being demanded of me at this time. So things are changing beautifully. Even in the chaos, there is beauty. So alhamdulillah. I'll do a prayer to close us out. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanirrahim. مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Call in all of our higher teachers, our ancestors, Ya Allah, Source, Great Spirit, plant teachers, Nayaral, Marusa, Admiral, and everyone's healed ancestral court here on this call and listening to this recording in the future. I pray that you give us all strength to remember our spiritual warriorship, to remember our power, to remember our courage to walk through the fire. I pray that you lighten our hearts, that you give us deep bliss and childlike joy as we dance through these times of transition. I pray that you help us to maintain our truth cords and that our compass is strong, that our connection to the earth is unbreakable, that our connection to spirit is pure and unadulterated, that we are all engulfed in the divine light, that we are all walking pillars of light and our fields are impenetrable. as we move through this day, through this week, through this month. The light within our hearts radiates so fiercely that it cuts through all illusion, that we are beacons of truth, and that we stand confidently, authentically in our power, that we love ourselves, and we love all of our parts, and we love every being we meet, and spread that love so that they remember their own love for themselves, for all of life, for creation, and for this human experience. Alhamdulillah, shukr. Iraka, Amin, Ashe, and Aho. Thank you so much. We will speak soon. Blessings.